Let's travel back in time. All the way back to the 18th century. Let's dive into the mutual history of our two powerhouses. It was 1784 when the first representatives of the United States went to China. They arrived with a big newly built ship called the Empress of China, carrying a full load of goods, including roughly 30 tons of ginseng. The Americans knew that the Chinese highly valued the root as a cure for various ailments. Let's be honest, coming with a full load of goods wasn't out of goodwill. Once the Empress of China reached Guangzhou, the United States formally entered into trade with China, and that was one heck of an opportunity. Soon, dozens of ships were sailing the seas between the US and China each year, helping build fortunes in New York and New England. It then took over half a century more to establish official diplomatic relations. The Treaty of Wengya was signed in 1844. Not only did it make the relationship official, it granted the US the most favored nation status and diplomatic representation in Beijing. From then on, Americans and Chinese went through various periods of love and hate. War brought them closer together. They found a common enemy in Japan, which launched an all-out offense in China in 1937, bombed Pearl Harbor in 1941, but ended with the US detonating 2 atomic bombs over Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Shortly after came the Cold War. In 1949, Chinese Communist leader Mao Zedong declared the creation of the People's Republic of China. Once allies became strangers. The US backed the exiled Nationalist Republic of China, based in Taiwan. For almost 3 decades, these nations were experiencing what history commonly refers to as a break in a relationship. Turns out, it's often sports that go beyond borders. During the Cold War in 1971, the US table tennis team was invited for an all-expenses-paid trip to China, making them the very first Americans to receive an official invitation since the communist takeover in 1949. Ping-pong diplomacy was born. The US President Nixon, not wanting to lose momentum, soon sent Secretary of State Henry Kissinger to Beijing secretly to arrange a presidential visit to China. In February 1972, Nixon's visit to China became one of the most significant events in post-war US history. This is how Nixon summed it up.
This was the week that changed the world.
Can't argue with the president. The balance of power in the Cold War has shifted. The global influence of the Soviet Union undermined. Clinton then admitted China to the WTO. There have been attempts to make peace since then, but the roller coaster ride continues.